Aloha, everyone in another level living land. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Freedom Fridays. So happy that you're here because you're in store for a really great treat today. We have an amazing special guest that's going to be able to support you in exactly what you need, probably for your business and life harmony. So before we get into meeting her and hearing her wisdom, I just want to share with you what we're doing here. This is your show, your support for supporting you in achieving your success in business and life harmony so that you can work smarter, not harder, stress less, strengthen your relationships, and lead with much more energy, ease, and momentum. And so I want y'all to give a warm Another Level Living welcome to our special guest, Samantha Foote today. Samantha, so happy that you're here today with us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And so she's going to be sharing with us these secrets on how to reduce overwhelm and actually enhance focus in our workplace. Let me just tell you a little bit about her, okay? So Samantha is a board certified neurologic music therapy fellow and leverages the power of music to support neurodivergent individuals. She is also a positive discipline parent educator, providing adults with positive and effective parenting strategies. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much, Samantha, for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have a question for you. First of all, what is neurodivergent? And then I also want to know, why is this topic so essential, especially now?
So neurodivergence is just people who may have a diagnosis of like autism, ADHD, central auditory processing disorder, dyslexia, OCD, and that's not an exhaustive list, but it's just people with maybe developmental disabilities or mental health disorders. And we typically say neurotypical, which is people who don't usually have that, and then neurodivergent are people that may have that.
Nice. Wow, that's a really great list. And one of the things I was thinking about as you were talking about it is that sometimes people may have these diagnoses and don't even know, that they have them, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that might be much more common. Are you finding that in like your work and stuff like that?
So I know I've been diagnosed with OCD and ADHD, and I did not get diagnosed with ADHD until I was 36 years old.
Wow.
So within this last year, I got diagnosed, and that is very common for women because women don't present like typical ADHD symptoms. So they're hyperactive, but they're hyperactive in their mind. They're disorganized, but it doesn't show up like, when we think of ADHD, we think of little boys that are running around the room like crazy and not doing their work and not sitting still and not doing that. But for women, it's much more subtle. And so they don't get diagnosed until they're usually later in life. So I think a lot of people are neurodivergent and they may be trying to fit into society the way that a neurotypical would, and they just don't understand how. And that's hard for them. And so then when they get the diagnosis, they're like, oh, life makes sense. That's
All
how I was anyway.
Oh, I love it. I mean, all change starts with awareness. So once you're aware, then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then you found a way to be able to figure out how to utilize that to help it easier for other neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
So tell us, why is this something that's so important, especially right now, this work that you're doing?
So I think right now we are so busy in life. We don't take time for self-care. We don't take time to slow down. And I think we don't understand how powerful music can actually be in our lives. So music it can affect you on your genomic level. It can affect the brain chemicals in your body. So it affects dopamine, which is the reward chemical, serotonin, which is a mood stabilizer. Oxytocin is a love bonding hormone, and endorphins are a painkiller, and it can affect all of those things. And I just think that this time we're just so busy, we don't take the time to engage in musical things because we don't understand how powerful it can actually affect us.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, what are some of the strategies, especially for those of us who are busy, right? Like, what are some of the strategies that we can actually be able to start implementing right now to support us?
Yeah. So I would say if you're in the workplace and you're having like a hard time managing your emotions, you can have a playlist ready that you could listen to that would help you manage your emotions. And there's something called the ISO principle, where you go from one emotion to the next emotion, but you do it slowly and you do it methodically. So you're not just like, oh, I'm mad right now, so I'm going to listen to calming music to help me be calm. So that kind of shocks your body. So you want to start with mad music. So I listen to Linkin Park when I'm really angry. And everyone always asks me, like, what music should you listen to? It does not matter. Like, does it make you feel a certain way? If it makes you feel mad, then listen to that music. Some people, like, they listen to country music and it makes them angry. So, if you listen to that, then, listen to that, and then slowly go toward calming music if you want to feel calm. If you want to feel happy, then go toward happy music. And you can make different playlists to so that you're prepared in the moment when you need that emotion.
Wow, Samantha, that's so awesome because here's what's interesting, right? Like a lot of times what you highlighted is that if we're mad, then it's like our mind will tell us it's not okay to be mad. Let's get happy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, lean into that emotion. So we talk about here at Another Level Living, lean in, let go, leap forward. But lean
Yeah.
into that emotion and then start to transition into the emotion that you want to be in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't just do it all at once. So this also helps if you're trying to go to sleep. A lot of people will just turn on, like calming, sleeping musics with not a lot going on, but you want to really relax your body and you want to start like, maybe my friend is like, I listen to hip hop music when I'm up and dancing. And so you might want to start with like hip hop music, and then you slowly go down to where there's less elements in the music so that it's calming your body down slowly and not just like shocking your body into, okay, now it's time to sleep.
Okay, cool. So having that transition even works in when we're getting ready to go to bed. I can see that transition. And I was thinking this morning, I'm like, these transitions can happen throughout different areas of our life, right? So I love how you put the music into that. So what is some of the common symptoms or common things that you see that are where we can recognize, hey, maybe I should start using this music, or maybe I should start remind myself of this technique? Like, what are some, because sometimes when we're in it, we just don't even think about it. So what are some of those like precursor like symptoms to be able to look for?
Yeah. So I noticed, like, let's go with mad still. If I feel like I am going to lose it, so if I feel like I'm going to start yelling at someone, that is a signal definitely that it's time. But you can back up a little bit and just know yourself. So what are the leading, like, what is leading up to you being mad before you lose it? So my heart might start racing. I might feel like I'm going to cry. I might, just feel that like rage inside. And so I can start, maybe when my heart starts racing or I start feeling frustrated just a little bit, that's when you can start the music, because that way you can calm down before it gets to that point of I'm going to lose it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's like even the precursor of the overwhelm or the overreaction that comes,
Mhm.
like nip it in the bud early on. I usually say like when there's a lot of times when I deal with stuff when it's like a pebble as compared to what becomes this big mountain, right? So that way it
Yeah.
doesn't become the big mountain and then you can have clear pastures.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, so a lot of people, you have to get to know yourself and recognize what's going on in your own body, because everyone reacts so differently when they're sad or when they're mad, that you just need to really look inside yourself and see the precursors before you hit the big. So I work a lot with emotion, the spot emotion books. Um, so I use those a lot, and I like, you want to get to where you can recognize what emotion you're feeling when your spot is this big rather than when it's like this big.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I work a lot with kids. So that's what I tell the kids, but it works
Oh,
with adults too.
that's so good because, a lot of times we're taught, even just in society or growing up that, forget about the emotions. It's all about your logic and and that part and go with that. But it's really a need to have harmony with both. And that way we can use our wisdom, right? And operate in that as compared to the hills and valleys that are caused as the emotions go up and down like a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Any other techniques, other ways that we can be able to utilize and implement some of the things that you're sharing with us today?
Yeah, I would suggest creating musical breaks in your day, or when you get home. If you don't work from home, if you work in an office, you can create musical breaks using song lists that you like and you can listen to it. Or if you're at home and you like have a piano, you can improvise on the piano or improvise on guitar or improvise on any instrument that you have. And improvisation has always scared me because I am a classically trained musician. I sight read what's on the page and I play what's on the page. But certain things happen in your brain when you do improvisation, like it opens creativity, it reduces stress, all of that. And so I just would like to offer maybe a trick for improvisation. If
Yeah,
you have a piano, just start playing with one finger and just play like, little kids do when they play on the piano. Just play one finger at a time. And then you can add two fingers and two hands and just play that way. And then you might add one hand and you just put your hand on the piano and whatever notes you can reach with that one hand, that's what you play. And then you might go to two hands and whatever notes you can reach with those two hands, that's what you play. And it's just kind of less overwhelming than just looking at a piano and be like, I have all these keys. I don't know what to do. And I also recommend either playing only the black keys or only the white keys. And it will just create a better sound because there's so many different like scales and tones and all of that on the piano that if you just play the black keys or just play the white keys, it will be in tune with each other no matter what you play.
oh, so nice. So I don't have a piano, but my parents
Yeah.
do, and I think I'm gonna go try this out.
Yeah. Or, you can buy, like, if you don't want to buy a piano, you can get one of those little keyboards and just use that. And it's easy to store. You can bring it out and just play it whenever you want to. And then I know a lot of people really like the keyboards because they can make different sounds. So depending on how you're feeling, you can get the sound that matches your mood. And that way you can even improvise even further and create new things.
So good. So good. Okay, so now I have a question about we talked about in the workplace. Just highlight what are some of the key benefits for us, especially as entrepreneurs, utilizing some of these strategies. Tell me that, and then we're going to talk about the family side.
Yeah, so you can reduce your stress in the workplace. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that cortisol is ramping up. There was a study done where people were put in a stressful environment and they had to do puzzles that had no solution to them. And then they were put into different groups where they just got to relax like they normally would. Like reading the newspaper or just reading a book or whatever. And then another group was they were invited to play music, and another group was still in the stressful environment. The group that played the music, their stress hormones that were activated in the stressful environment, they were 3 times higher reverse. So when they reversed, 3 times higher than the group who just relaxed on their own without music. And so that just shows how music can reduce your stress on a genomic level. And it really it happens deep within your genes that the music is helping you de-stress. And so that's one of the reasons why I'd recommend that, because the office can get so overwhelming. And especially if you're a neurodivergent and you're hearing all these sounds, just put on some headphones and just listen to some music. You can listen if you're looking for focus. If you're wanting to focus, you can listen to Brown Noise, binaural beats, anything like that. You can search on YouTube music for ADHD and a bunch of stuff will come up. My favorite thing to listen to is tongue drum music. And that just like puts me in the zone. Like I never knew what people were talking about when they said they were in the zone because I was so distracted all the time. But that like gets me like in the zone. So yeah, those are just some things that you can do in the workplace environment.
Oh, that's so cool. I was just thinking, it's like get out of your comfort zone and get in the zone, right? Because a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times we can even be like we get so accustomed to the noise and to the overwhelm, and it causes the lack of productivity and action and getting results, and it creates even more. So that's so great. That's so great. Okay,
Yeah.
so what about you? I want to hear actually so far, everyone who's listening, make sure you put your comments below, like on which one of these nuggets have spoken really close to you today as we continue. Okay. So tell me about the life side. Tell me what are the benefits from the family side, because it's interesting as we were talking, I keep thinking about like how me and my kids will put on some music and then we just start jamming, and it's definitely makes a big difference. So tell me about that, the family, the life side, the parenting side stuff that you talk about.
Yeah. So when you make music in a group, there are some special things that happen that don't happen when you make music individually. And one of the biggest things is it increases empathy and increases the oxytocin, which is the love bonding hormone. And so you actually feel more empathy for each other. You feel more bonded to each other just by making music together. And you can make music together through drumming, dancing, singing, whatever you want. I know my friend, I love telling the story. All she wanted for her birthday was a magazine subscription, and her husband bought her 15 drums to have a drum circle. And I'm like, but now you can have a drum circle. And so whenever you're mad at each other, you can just beat it out on a drum. And then you're like increasing the empathy for each other, increasing the bonding hormone, all of that just by drumming. There's this thing called drum talk where you have a conversation with each other using drums. So instead of verbally saying like, I'm mad at you, this is why, and yelling and screaming at each other, you can just do it on drums. And then I did this with siblings who at first they were very aggressive, very loud on the drums. And by the end of it, they were calmer, they could communicate, and they had a conversation after they were done because they got out all their aggression and all their like anger out on the drums, and then they were able to have a conversation with each other.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's incredible. See,
Yeah,
so
I love it.
we talk about here at Another Level Living, creating peace on all sides, right? And you shared with us how to be able to do both. Thank you so much for that wisdom today. Oh,
Thank you.
so good. You're welcome. Now tell us, first of all, how can everyone who's listening be able to get more connected with you? Do you have something that they can be able to read of yours or anything?
Yeah. So on my website, BoiseMusicTherapyCompany.com, I have 5 strategies that you can use if you're neurodivergent to help increase focus in the workplace. And then I also have strategies if you're a parent of a neurodivergent child, how you can increase your, increase your relationship with them, I can't think of the word right now, but just increase the bonding in your relationship and create a better relationship through positive parenting.
Oh, so good. So good. And what would be like your one big takeaway that you would be able to share with us to leave us with this weekend as we soak in all of this knowledge you shared with us?
Yeah, I would say if you're not using music right now, if you're like, I'm not a singer, I don't play instruments, just start doing it. Start by listening to music without anything in the background, like just sit and listen to it and listen. And why do you like it? And then maybe you start singing with it, or maybe you get a drum and drum along with the music that you're listening to. And that will get all the benefits of music by doing something small. You just have to start small.
So good. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to make sure you put your comments in the chats below. Also, I'll put in the link to Samantha's website so you can be able to get those free gifts that she shared with us. Take this information in, because really and truly, we never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And you are called for amazing things and freedom and peace and joy on every side of life, unapologetically. So therefore you can show other people how to do the same with just your presence alone. We really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us today, Samantha. This was awesome. And everyone who's listening, we look forward to seeing you again on another episode of Freedom Fridays, and have an amazing weekend as this soaks into your soul. Bye, everyone.
Bye.